Drum roll.
Hello, drum roll. It's Leanne and Simon on Loving Life Now with today's topic, who's responsible? I think you're responsible.
Who's responsible? Well, we're going to find out tonight who is responsible. So
Yes.
As you join us, pop your details in. Let us know you are here. We'd love to welcome you to this evening's live stream on Facebook. We're streaming in from our home office on the beautiful Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. So thanks for joining us. And we're also live on TikTok.
Yeah,
so if you've
hello.
joined us on TikTok, g'day, good evening, welcome, wherever
G'day.
you're streaming in from.
G'day, Aussie.
As I said, we're streaming in from our home office, well, our dining room actually, on the
Yeah.
Gold Coast in Queensland. So let us know where you're streaming in from. Pop your details in and say hi and where you're streaming in from so we know where you are.
Hello.
Brett Hudson. Hello, Brett. I know you're in Brisbane, so welcome. Michelle Collins on the Gold Coast. Welcome, Michelle. Karen, hello from Aratula. Peggy from Perth. Shani in Sydney. Shani, we're coming down to Sydney in a couple of weeks.
We are.
We need to
2
catch
weeks.
up. Luan, hello. Ida in Melbourne, hello. We've got Stephen in Aratula as well. Hello, good evening. Welcome. Nicole.
We've got Perth over here on TikTok. Hello
G'day,
from
Nicole.
Perth.
Nicole's down in cold Tassie. It is cold
Oh,
down
we're
in
coming to
Tassie.
Tassie too.
We are coming to Tassie a bit later in the year. Yes, we'll be in Sydney in a couple of weeks and we're going to have a catch up. So let's organise that. Rob Collins on the Gold Coast. G'day, Rob. Thanks for joining us. And as I said, we're streaming in from our home office, or our dining table actually, on the Gold
Yes.
Coast in Queensland, Australia. So if you've just joined us, let us know where you're streaming in from. We'd love to welcome you to this evening's stream. We've got a great topic tonight. It's called Who's Responsible?
I'm just doing some sharing.
Lee was trying to tell me she was responsible. I was
But then
trying
we
to
get
tell
on
her
and-
I was responsible. And I don't know. We'll
It
work
depends what
out.
we're talking about and who's responsible.
That's right. Who is responsible? David Miller says, good evening, guys. Dave Miller's streaming in from Red Belly Swamp
What?
in the rain, wind and hail.
That's a bit different.
All right, you're in South Australia. Cheryl's in
We're
Sydney.
coming there
G'day, Cheryl.
too.
We're coming down to Sydney, Cheryl, in a couple of weeks. So we're going to organise a catch-up, get-together. Mark Mulder Edwards, hello. From,
I think I'm done.
I missed where you're from. Oh, Mark, of course, you're in Melbourne with Sandra. Hello. Kim from Rocking Robina.
It's rocking.
All right.
What's rocking in Rabina?
Pacifico, good evening. South coast of Sydney. Welcome to you,
And we've
Pacifico.
got Toowoomba and Australia and Gold Coast over on TikTok.
Yeah, and we've got Liverpool. What? Liverpool in
Liverpool.
Australia.
Hello from Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool in Australia.
Awesome.
Oh, that's in Sydney. Yeah, Liverpool
It
in
is.
Sydney.
And Brisbane as well.
All right, and Joe Newland's just popped in. She's joined us from the Gold Coast.
All
She's
right.
listening in.
We're ready to
She's not
get
watching,
going,
she's
I
listening.
think.
All right, we've got a great topic this evening. It's called Who's Responsible? Who do you reckon's responsible out of me and Lee?
Depends on what we're talking about.
Really?
It does.
Probably does too.
It does. Depends
Probably
on what
does.
We're talking about.
Kim, hello, Kim from Outback Queensland. G'day,
Nice.
Kim.
Cool.
It'd be cool out there in Outback Queensland
Be cool.
tonight.
Very cool.
We're in for a cool week. So what's been happening?
Everyone that's not in Queensland thinks we're wusses because they think Queensland's not cold.
Well, I said to Lee, isn't it wonderful that we actually get to wear some winter clothes?
very good.
Yesterday was freezing. It was a top of 18, 19 here, and we got to
And so anyone
13
in Melbourne
overnight.
and, Melbourne and Sydney are like,
What are you
That's not
talking about?
cold.
It was cold here, and we had gale force winds overnight. Thought the roof was going to blow off.
we did actually. It was pretty crazy.
It's like cyclonic.
Yeah,
But
it was.
anyway, we today was sunny but cool, and
breeze, still, bit of wind.
apparently we're going to get down to 8 degrees tomorrow night
Ooh, that'd
in
be
Queensland.
nice and cold.
So that would be Melbourne's top for tomorrow, probably.
Probably. Oh well.
But anyway, our climate, our homes are not built for cold weather.
No.
They're not built for cold weather. I remember living in Melbourne. You got fireplaces in your house. You've got central heating, and
We
the
don't have that.
homes are double brick, and they're built differently. We don't build homes like that in Queensland because they're not.
No.
We don't have that. So when it gets cold, we're cold.
And we're Queenslanders, so we're wusses. So
Yeah, but I must say it's a nice change, but it's pretty early to have this cold weather. So what do we have on? My sister's over
Nicole
from
says definitely not cold. Was 3 degrees the other morning.
on the way to childcare drop off. My
Nice.
God, that is terrible.
We don't. We just You
We don't envy that at all.
You can keep that.
Oh, Nicole, that's a challenging one. Freezing, absolutely. Well, my sister's here from WA,
Hello,
so
sister.
we just send out a big hello to my sister who's over here visiting us. She was here at our place on the weekend.
Yes.
She came and surprised my mum last week, so I picked her up at the airport and we rocked up at mum's door and knock and said, I've got a... Oh, hi, Mum. And I went in and then I said, I've got something else in the car I've got to get out. And I said, oh, you might want to help me with this one. And then my sister appeared and she hasn't seen Mum for 2.5 years. Oh, no, she hasn't been over here for 2.5 years. Hasn't seen Mum for a year because we went to Perth in May of last year for my nephew's 18th. So, so it was a good surprise. Good to have family here over the weekend. And, of course, we went and saw the brand new Top Gun movie. Wow. 7 of us went and saw it. So my mum, who's 74, my sister, and our 3 teenagers. And everyone loved it, bar one.
we made them watch the old one on Friday night.
We all watched the old one on Friday night, except bar one. And that bar one was the one that didn't actually think it was her thing. Anyway, and that doesn't matter. Sometimes you got to go along to these things and experience them. And we went to VMAX. I would highly recommend if you go and see the new Top Gun movie that you go and see it in VMAX because just the big screen, the extra sound, and if you're a Top Gun fan, you'll love it. I loved it.
It was good.
It was good.
It's not really my movie, but it was good.
It was good. And we watched it Friday night, the old school one, which was actually really good. I'd highly recommend before you go see the new one to watch the old one because there's things in the new one that come up from the old one. So it would certainly help if you watch the old one first.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's get into our topic.
I don't want to keep talking about Top Gun.
No, we're not.
How good's the soundtrack?
Anyway.
The music.
So our topic for today is who's responsible. And we're still deciding who's responsible.
I'm responsible for Top Gun.
You're responsible for talking too much sometimes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So I guess it's your show then.
I mean talking about stuff that we shouldn't be talking about.
All right. So anyway, so we had fun on the weekend and...
We're talking about the topic.
All right. What else have we got going on this week?
Okay, we're talking about the topic. We're on to topic now.
All right. So who's responsible? Well, I'd better be responsible and get on with the topic.
I'm responsible for keeping you in line.
All right. So, well, you know what? In life, the first thing we do to become more a cause is to expand our circle of influence. And we've spoken about our circle of influence over the last couple of weeks and episodes. And who is our circle of influence? It's people we surround ourselves with. It's people that we hang around with. It's people that we're inspired by. Mm-hmm. It's people that we admire for certain qualities that they have in their life.
Yep.
Could be how successful they are personally. Could be their relationship, their marriage, their love life. They might be, just a really good role model in that area.
Yeah.
They could be somebody who's really personally developed and living life to the fullest. Just live life.
Just love life.
Live life. Just got to live life.
Yeah.
That was our thing from the other week. Just live life.
Just live life.
Live life boldly. So your circle of influence are people that you surround yourself with who are influential on you and I guess the way you live life, right? And sometimes we've got to make sure that circle of influence is certainly the people that we want in our circle of influence. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we've got to choose to love people from a distance and maybe they're not so good as influencers in our life. Not influencers as in influencers on social, right? But influencers in our life. So people that are a circle of influence. So becoming
maybe
more
Pacifico needs to be in your circle of influence. He said, I can get you a private invitation to meet Tom Cruise in person.
Really? Okay, great. Let's do that, Pacifico.
Is he coming to Australia? So you will encounter things in life that don't necessarily go your way, and it can cause difficulty.
It can. And it can even cause harm. And we all have situations that don't always go our way in life.
Yes.
So you've got to resist following the herd, right? Don't be one of the sheep and pull out the blame finger. It wasn't me. It was her. It was her. What? That's what we get in our teenagers. It wasn't me. It was her. It was them. Excuse me. So, you know, we can. It's very easy to blame others. It's very easy for people to pass the blame and to want to not take responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got to resist following the herd and resist pulling out the blame finger. All right? Because they always say that when you point at someone else, you got 4 fingers pointing back at you, right?
That's right.
All right. So take a moment to look at what did you do to create the situation you're in? What did you do?
I didn't
What else,
do anything.
Lee?
Or what did you not do to create this?
Yeah, most importantly, right? So have a look at situations and say, well, what did I do to create this situation? Or more importantly, what did I not do that led to creating the situation? And sometimes we've got to evaluate those things. So you've got to look at how we ourselves are at cause of the situation. So when you become aware, what happens, Lee?
Your frustration diminishes.
Yep, and you get more at cause, the more at cause you become in your life.
And more resentment disappears.
Yeah, so you're not so resentful of others or on situations. And when we admit that we've made a mistake, when do we do that?
Never.
When do you admit you've made a mistake? Right?
Never.
Do you admit that to your spouse or your significant other?
Never.
Really? All right.
Joe agrees.
So you can decide. So when we admit to a mistake, guess what? You can decide what to do, right? And you can also decide how to get out of it if needed.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
So if you actually take responsibility, admit, oh, look, I was wrong in that situation. I made that wrong decision, or that was my fault. I didn't mean to do that. Then you're taking responsibility. I took responsibility this morning when we drove to the shops and I didn't have my phone. We drove home and what did I say? Sorry about that. I took responsibility. I didn't have my
your
phone.
problem. It's your phone and you were driving, so it kind of was your responsibility.
I know, but I took responsibility and apologised.
I should have taken responsibility totally.
Well, you could have. I'm sorry I didn't remind you.
I'm sorry I didn't take your phone for you. And
Oh my goodness, so funny. So where can we take responsibility? Do we take it for ourselves or do we take it for others? Now, you can only go so far about being the victim in life, right? And we do know people, all of us know people who are victims and they play the victim card and they always want to be the victim in their life.
always poor me.
Yeah, it's always poor me, right? But are they taking responsibility for anything, all right? For absolutely anything. What's the next thing?
Blame is the unwillingness to admit responsibility.
Yeah, I love that comment. Blame is the unwillingness to admit responsibility. So for those people that don't take responsibility, what are they doing? They like to blame others.
Yep.
All right? It wasn't my fault. It was out of my control. It was because of this or because of that. So in our own universe, we are always the cause. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So whatever goes on in our lives, we're at the cause of it, right? Yeah? Because of the choices we make, the decisions that we make. So in our own universe, we are always at cause.
If you are responsible for something, it's ultimately your responsibility.
Absolutely, right? Now, that we're going to give some examples of that. I mean, imagine if your friend went away and said, look, I'm going to be away, and would you be happy to take care of and look after my dog? Right? And you say yes. Yeah, look, I'll happily look after your dog while you're away. Now, if something happens to the dog, if you starve the dog and you don't feed it, or the dog runs away, whose fault is it? Is it yours? Is it yours because you agreed to take responsibility for the dog? Absolutely, it's your responsibility.
Well, I don't want to tell the story then of when I looked after a dog.
So, well, it is your responsibility, right? You've said, yes, I'll look after your dog.
I know, but...
So it's your responsibility to feed the dog, walk the dog.
But if it has kidney failure and then dies, it's not my fault.
Well, there's some extraordinary circumstances, Lee. It's okay. It's okay. There is some extraordinary
It just didn't like me. And so I think it, like, had anxious and
Had anxious. Had anxiousness?
Yeah.
Or did it have a bit of anxiety?
Yeah, I think so.
Did it? Mm. Well, sometimes dogs fret when their owners go away.
Yep.
Right? But ultimately, everything we do to help others, if we take the responsibility, it's our responsibility. Mm-hmm. So we just need to get on with it, right? And be responsible because we've taken responsibility for something of somebody else. Tara says, always be a cause in the matter and take responsibility. Absolutely. So responsibility is also accountability. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? So
yes.
If you're responsible, you are 100% accountable. All right? Mm-hmm. So it's all about accountability. And if you have accountability and responsibility, you're in a seat of power. Right? You're in a seat of power. What else, Lee? People who
do not take responsibility act cowardly.
Oh, that's pretty mean, isn't it? People who don't take responsibility act cowardly.
Yes.
Well, it is. It's calling it for what it is, right? Because we do want to make sure that we are 100% responsible for our choices. And if we're not, then who are we being? Who are we showing up as? So people who do not take responsibility act cowardly, but they live a life under fear. Mm-hmm. What else?
Unreasonable anger.
Yeah, they have unreasonable anger issues because they're living a life of fear. And what else?
Out of context emotional outbursts.
Yeah, so quite often they'll have emotional outbursts they'll react to situations. And these are people that really are coming from a place of not taking responsibility. So they become defensive and they live under fear and they just want to blame others or attack others for things that they do. And often you hear the lack of responsibility in people's language. Right? So you might be having a conversation with a group of people and you might overhear a conversation where people are using words like, oh, well, I went to do this, but it wasn't my fault. I wasn't able to go there because this happened and that happened.
So-and-so did that.
And so-and-so did that, and the boss didn't allow me to do this. And all of a sudden, I couldn't do it, right? Now, is that person taking responsibility? No, not wholly, because if they had taken responsibility, they would have made it happen. So often we hear others blaming situations, circumstances, and people. Now, where there is blame, there is a lack of responsibility. So when you hear people blaming others, there is absolutely a lack of responsibility. And let me say this, the two, blame and responsibility, cannot coexist. They can't coexist together. You can't have somebody taking responsibility and then blaming others. So
no responsibility equals no control, and you are at the effect.
So if you're not taking responsibility and you're not in control, then you're at the effect of outside influences. You're at the effect of others, you're at the effect of your circumstances, or you're at the effect of the situation that you're in.
Yep.
All right?
And those individuals also retreat.
Absolutely. They want to retreat and get out of there because they don't want to be responsible. So whilst we have interaction between energies in life, we all have our own energies, right? Male, female energies, personality energies. So whilst we have interaction between energies, between people, we will always have choice and we will always have responsibility. All right? So they're things that we have every day. When we wake up, we make choices as to how our day is going to be, who we're going to be, how we're going to show up, what action we're going to take, and how responsible we're going to be. So when we take complete ownership over the results that we create in our life, we're being responsible. What else?
We immediately become more at cause and less at the effect of situations or circumstances we encounter.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, taking responsibility leads to us being more at cause, less at the effect of circumstances, situations, less at the effect of others. And of course, we're going to encounter situations right throughout our day-to-day life that are going to have us have to take responsibility and make choices. So this allows us to be more settled. If we do this, we as individuals become more settled. And we also feel more in charge and more in control. All right? Because we're taking responsibility. What happens when you take responsibility? You feel like you're in control of things.
Yeah.
Right? You feel like you're in control of your life or the situation or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, there's a great quote that we're going to sort of close off on here, and it's a quote by Mark Twain, and it says, "Really great people make you feel that you too can become great."
Awesome.
All right? And it's a great quote by Mark Twain. So I'll read it again. Really great people make you feel that you too can become great. So ask yourself, who's responsible? Am I being responsible for the choices, the decisions, the actions that I take each and every day? Mm-hmm. All right? Because there's lots of people out there that aren't taking responsibility. And ask yourself, what level of responsibility am I taking for what's going on in my life today, or where I'm at in my life?
Yeah.
So where I'm at in my life, I'm totally responsible for.
Absolutely.
So be aware of that and make better choices, make better decisions, and be responsible. And then you'll know who's responsible.
Yes.
You won't actually have to guess it, or you won't have to have a competition. You'll just say, I'm being responsible. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Yep.
Yep. You take responsibility every day when you get up.
I do.
When you drive, take responsibility. There's plenty of circumstances in life that we all take responsibility, and sometimes we've really got to make sure that we are being, we're taking that responsibility, just owning it.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about, isn't it?
Yep.
It's just owning things in your life. Right? I'm totally 100% owning it. And if it's going to be, and if it's up to me, it's up to me, right? If it's going to be, it's up to me. If I want to create something different or get a different result, I need to be responsible for making better choices, better decisions, and taking the action that I need to take in order to achieve the outcome that I want to achieve. Mm-hmm. Yep. Agreed?
Yep. Totally.
Excellent. All right, what have we got happening for the rest of our week?
We've got a little staycation.
Well, we've got a business plan tomorrow night with some of our business associates around the world. So we're doing that. That'll be a couple of hours tomorrow night.
And that little staycation.
And that's on the weekend.
It is.
Yep. And on the Gold Coast this weekend is Sea Fire.
Yes.
So Brisbane has River Fire once a year, and the Gold Coast has Sea Fire, and it's on Saturday night on the Gold Coast. And the foreshores of Surfers Paradise will be packed because the weather's meant to be fine, and they have a big pyrotechnics display off the beach on the Gold Coast. So it's a big weekend. It'll be a big crowd down there. Lee and I are going to stay in Surfers for it.
We are.
Have some fun.
We didn't even know it was on. We booked Surfers and didn't even know.
And we realised.
Yeah.
So we're staying at the QT on the Goldie, and hopefully we'll have a good view of the pyrotechnics.
What do you mean hopefully?
We will.
Trust we will have a good view.
Absolutely. We'll make sure we do.
Exactly.
So looking forward to that, and of course catch up with my sister before she heads back to WA. So that's on the agenda. And then coming up next week, is next week's State of Origin? Is that next week?
Yes.
It is too. Next Wednesday night, we've got State of Origin, Queensland versus New South Wales in the Rugby League. I'm a big fan. We'll be watching it and streaming it right here in our house. And I'll have my maroon scarf out for any of those Blues supporters out there. And yes, looking forward to that coming up as well. Bit of excitement on the radar.
It is. All right, guys. Well, have a great week.
Thanks for hanging out with us this evening on TikTok. Thanks, guys. And thanks for joining us on Loving Life Now on a Facebook page.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week with another great topic. So be sure to join us, 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. And we only go for 20 to 30 minutes.
Yep.
And we'll talk about a topic. And so we'd love to have you back. Next week is episode 115. So tonight, episode 114.
Yep. Cool. All
right. We're done. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.